Greg sat on the ground facing Tang in the decaying light of the hut and listened as the old man talked about the place beyond thunder. Nock's ashes were in a ceramic urn next to the cross-legged Tang. The old man's hands were shaking as he tried to remove a rolled betel leaf from a small silver container tarnished black over the years of use. Greg guessed Kanda rolled the betel mix for him and cooked for him as well, now that Nock was gone. Tang dropped it twice before placing it in his mouth. What teeth he had left were black from the constant use of the plant. Greg made no pretense about understanding death. Sister Mary Peyton cried as she sat next to him at the funeral ceremony earlier that morning. She had spared him any theological lesson, but he knew she believed that death was a portal to life everlasting with God. She also believed that Christ had destroyed death. He had no idea what that meant, and wondered why she was crying if she believed that. Tang said, "You had to be quiet to hear the voices from beyond the thunder." His hands were still shaking, and he asked Greg to light the wick in the small glass bottle. Greg had never heard voices, and considered those who claimed as much to be charlatans or simply crazy. In Tang's case, he leaned toward the latter, but also recognized how sad the situation was for him. The wick floated in a clear liquid and lit easily. In the flickering light, Greg could see the black juice slipping from the old man's mouth and dripping across his craggy chin. Ping hugged Greg when he left. She wrapped the carefully in a silk cloth and packed it into the saddlebag of his motorcycle. She reminded him to be careful as he drove, and to be as compassionate as possible with Tang. Nothing is worse than losing a child, she thought to herself. No pain can match that, and that pain never goes away. Never. Greg told Tang that he would spend the night in Ban Su and leave tomorrow. He could see the old man rocking ever so slightly. Greg asked him if he could get him anything, and Tang then asked him to load his pipe. Greg had performed this task often throughout his travels in the hill tribe regions. He had little affection for the black pill. He found opium too much like a sledgehammer. When he sobered up, he invariably had a massive headache, and he had enough headaches already, without the big O. Given a choice, he preferred weed. But the pipe was, as Elliot explained, more than a custom, more than an icebreaker to draw close to his guests in the villages. It was a type of bond, a communion of sorts. He did not need to get any closer to Tang tonight, so he arranged the viscid substance, a resinous pill, in the black bowl of the long, slender ivory pipe, but abstained, merely attending to the flame for Tang. The old man worked to inhale and coughed repeatedly. While they were at the temple, shortly after the ceremony, he saw Priya approach the monk, who conducted the ritual as if there were throngs of mourners. The monk sat imperiously on the elevated platform with his legs crossed. Priya approached from the side, knelt, bowed deeply, touching her forehead to the floor, and passed an envelope toward him. He did not reach for it. They spoke together in hushed voices, and then Priya rejoined Greg. Greg told her she didn't need to do that. He had paid for the services already. She acted surprised by his comment. "I thought you understood Thai customs."